So I guess we have to do this. Let's talk about how accurate DNA tests are. They're not very. That's why identical twins can give a sample and both have different data come up. But we'll talk about it anyway, since my phone won't stop ringing. Here we go. So the Shoat name, as you can see, around the 1200s, found itself over in the British and Irish areas. So we found ourselves over across the pond from Germany around 1200. We moved to Ireland and Scotland mostly, some in British. Yeah. We're all over there drinking tea, basically. So when the Germans came over, they kind of wanted to hide and they wanted to blend in. So they jumped into a bunch of families whose names were phonetically similar. So they went with the Schutz, the Schultz, and a whole bunch of other phonetically similar names. So it was very hard from there to follow my lineage back because the migration to Ireland from Germany was horrible. But the migration on to America was easier to follow because they kept better records. So you got to look at all of it. They migrated to the United States, as you can see, very early. We had John Shoat in America super early. So from 1200, in about 400 or 500 years, we've now gone halfway across the globe. Genes spread because genetic markers spread because men breed with women, women bear children, the children bear the name of the father, and boom, there you go. We're all over the world. So as you can see, we had people in Texas and California, but don't tell anybody. We actually have a Shoat, I hate to say this, but in New Zealand. So by 1877, we had a freaking Shoat in New Zealand. So we will pull from that genetic marker and those people that he would bear children with as well. That's why a DNA ancestral marker is not as profound as it should be. You need ancestral, you need empirical data, hard copy data to follow the lineage because the ancestral stuff may be misleading. Your British uncle may have moved to Africa, but he's still British. So, but you're going to have African genetics probably from the women he buried children with. But if you follow yours back, you're not actually African. So what I did was I went backwards. I found myself and then I went backwards through my family line. I went through my father's and I went through my mother's. My mother's was actually harder than my father's because ship logs were the saving grace of my father's. So we don't want to always rely on these DNA tests because they have these error rates. And while you think they're very small, it can create a huge issue in an ancestral data pool when you're pulling from genetics and there's one issue. It could bring up thousands and thousands and thousands of misrepresented issues. So you always want to maybe get a DNA test, but always follow it with empirical hard copy data and follow your lineage. Don't rely on the DNA test because like I said, men move, women bear children, the names get spread, but it doesn't mean you have DNA from there. So you need to follow your lineage and know where you came from, not just where the men have taken the DNA. Not just where the men have, went and met everybody and said howdy in a very friendly manner, but you need to pull the hard copy data and follow your lineage and know where you came from. So highly likely I have none of the Shoat lineage from New Zealand because he was over there before I was born and looks like we were on separate trees. So research, that's why you always have to research. DNA is a very shaky thing. That's why lawsuits are lost every day that were based on DNA. Go and read about it. So if you have an issue anymore, understand that the person is not the DNA is not the person. It is simply a snapshot of what is withheld in the person, and what is within the person is so much more than the DNA. Follow your ancestry, follow it with paperwork. You'll thank me later.